Unlike a paragraph, the essay has a more elaborative structure. It is divided into three general parts: the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. Here is a sample essay about RPGs or role playing games. Introduction. While walking amidst the tall grasses in Route 169, Ash was suddenly stopped by the sight of a wild Pokemon. He opens his Pokeball case, calls out his Charizard, and gets ready for an exciting battle. In the introduction, a lead or attention getter is the first statement in the essay, which aims to hook the readers or catch their interest. This is just one of the many scenes a gamer may encounter when playing an adventure role playing game or RPG, a subgenre of video games where a player takes the role of a character which can interact in the game's fantasy world and play out the storyline. The second part in the introduction is the transitional statement. What the transitional statement do is to link the attention getter to the thesis statement. The hook of adventure RPGs is the escape that they provide to the player, a double-edged sword which can lead to either innocent fun or uncontrollable addiction. This is the last part of the introduction, the thesis statement. It states the main idea of an argument of the essay. Notice the italicized words innocent fun and uncontrollable addiction. Those are the two major points that the writer will explain further in the body paragraphs. The body is the meat of essay. It discusses the major points in the thesis statement in detail through its paragraphs. This is where the topic is developed and where the arguments or major points are laid out and discussed. The ease of slipping into another persona is one of the attractive features of role playing games. A player can acquire a different personality or point of view just by choosing a character. Any gamer can do as he pleases without rendering huge losses or risking anything outside the game. The power accorded to RPG characters enables the player to do anything despite physical limitations that he may have in real life. For instance, he may battle with another player without getting tired or inducing real life wounds to anyone. This body paragraph explains and discusses the first major point in the thesis statement, which is about RPGs as innocent fun. The other side of the coin presents a grim possibility. Since this genre offers a whole new dimension for the player, it also makes it easier to get lost in the game and deliberately escape from the real world problems. Once the offer of escape is abused, a player can choose to simply ignore the demands of real life and turn into his chosen fantasy world. This second body paragraph explains and discusses the second major point in the thesis statement, which is about RPGs as uncontrollable addiction. Conclusion. These forms of escape offered by adventure RPGs effectively encourage a player to indulge in another world, while at the same time exposing him to the danger of addiction. The concluding paragraph begins with a restatement of the thesis statement using a different structure and wording to uphold the language style. It is therefore a challenge for gamers to draw the line between fun and addiction, to stay within the boundary of the former and curb the pangs of the latter. This part is the transitional statement of the conclusion that talks about the recommendations, benefits of ideas presented, or purpose of writing the essay. After all, once the credit rolls in and every Pokemon is caught, the player has to journey back to the real world. Finally, a closing statement is used to wrap up the essay. Once strategy used for ending an essay, then you should make a kind of essay that would make a bang and somehow link it to the attention getter in the introduction. So, this is the pattern of the sample essay that we have discussed. Introduction, under it is the attention getter, transitional statement, and the thesis statement. Body, under it are the discussion of the major details mentioned in the thesis statement. Conclusion, under it is the restatement of the thesis statement and also the transitional statement and the closing sentence.